Kong, Skull Island. I think I'm going to start off by saying I think that this demands two videos because there's got to be a spoiler video. There's just something I got to get off my chest, and I can't in a non-spoiler video, so there's got to be two. Kong, Skull Island stars King Kong. Surprise. And Tom Hiddleston is the leader, sort of the tracker in the movie. He's the one to get them through the forest and the woods and the jungle. Samuel L. Jackson plays the man in charge. He's got it's the end of a war, but he's not done fighting. He's got more in the tank. Brie Larson is the damsel in distress, and she does something in the movie that I didn't understand. I didn't really understand it. I didn't really dig it. She touches King Kong. I mean, he's a gigantic wild animal, and if you think it was cool or brave or something like that, go down to your local zoo and try to pet one of the tigers. Yeah. John C. Reilly is like comic relief. He's in the movie. Essentially, it's comic relief. He plays some zany characters, and this movie is not really different from his norm. He's a zany character. John Goodman has been cutting weight and becoming more a serious actor, and his characters have been becoming more terrifying. He does a good job in this movie. He's the guy that discovers the island for all intents and purposes. Corey Hawkins is like his sidekick. You remember Corey Hawkins and Jason Mitchell are both in this movie. They are Dr. Dre and Eazy-E from the NWA movie. They're united back together in this movie, and they work well together. I like them. Several other really good actors and actresses, and I thought it made for a good movie. I thought if you're going to redo something as classical, as well known as King Kong, then you better have a good idea and a good script. And I think they've got a good idea creating a brand new universe, a la Marvel and DC universes. So they're creating a monsterverse, and it starts in this movie, and I think it was a good idea. It was a smart thing to do. If you're going to do monsters, you need to have something that will capture the attention of the modern day audience. Essentially what it is you have an organization called Monarch that believes that there are gigantic creatures on the earth, and they pose a threat to man because they're starting to awaken, they're starting to appear in different places, and if unchecked, they could once again dominate the world. So Monarch wants to identify them, prove they exist, and then I think ultimately destroy them. Destroy all monsters. That was a movie. So they get funding, they get government funding, and they get a military escort, which introduces the Samuel L. Jackson character. His men have just finished in Vietnam and they're supposed to be going home, but alas, they shall not be, because they've got one more mission, and sucks for them. It's a mission to go meet King frigging Kong. So yeah, that happens. And they get on the island, and of course they run into all kinds of horror and dangers, and they have to try to deal with them. Now, it's not your traditional King Kong movie where people are going to the island and they either don't know he's there or they're woefully unprepared. This is a seasoned, well-trained, well-equipped group of soldiers led by none other than Samuel friggin' Jackson. So they're ready for a fight. They didn't know what they were fighting. They didn't know what was going to happen, but they're ready. They've got guns and bullets and tanks and knives and such, and they're ready to do it. But it's King Kong, and his name's in the title of the movie. So it's a good movie. There's a lot of good action, a lot of good fighters. There is the Skull Crawlers. I almost forgot the name. The Skull Crawlers are on the island, and there seems to be at least 4 or 5 of them. One of them is gigantic, even in the realm of gigantic beast. This one is even more gigantic than the others, and it's one that has done some horrible things on the island, and the island is terrorized by this gigantic beast. But I think it made for a good movie. They hint that there may be more to come. If you get the time, I would definitely invest in it. Now, it's not a traditional horror movie. You're not going to go there and be scared and terrified and drop your popcorn and everything. There's monsters, but it's not like a super duper scary movie. There's a couple of jumps, but not really a lot. You know, it's more. It's almost a war movie, really, when you take the soldiers and everything they're doing and going through. It's a war / giant monster movie, but I recommend it, and I give this movie a 7. 7 bags of popcorn. And if you like the video, if you like the content, if you'd like to see more, right down here, click my face and subscribe, and then like.